Alright folks, we've done another Star Trek Attack Wing. I know how you love these Star Trek Attack Wing playthroughs. Anyway, so got a little bit of a change here. Put these out of the way. We're still doing the same Klingon versus Federation, because Klingons are just undefeated, probably 10-0 by now. So the only change I did over here was a couple playthroughs ago I accidentally used the wrong photon torpedoes. It gave me 62 points. This time I got something a little bit different just to change it up. Something a little more interesting, a little more challenge for the Groth, but if it gets in, it could be devastating. So this is worth 4 squad points, so they're a total of 61 points actually with this, instead of the 62 with the mistaken photon torpedoes. The original photon torpedoes were only worth 3, so that was a 60-point build all the rest of the other times. But this is going to be a 61-point build with the extra point from the 4 points here. So it's magnetic pulse. It's you roll 4 or high, or you roll a attack dice of 4, and you have to disable this card and 1 active shield. So you don't need a target lock. Now the Groth only has 2 shields to start off with, but interesting enough, maybe it can hang back a little bit and try to get some pot shots out, because each attack or each critical that would damage on the opponent's shields instead inflicts 1 hit on the opponent's hull. So basically, when you roll and you get a crit, instead of that crit becoming just a damage on the shield, it goes through the shield, and interesting enough, and it does a regular hit on the opponent's hull, which is kind of interesting. So that could be kind of neat. Shields really don't matter if the Groth kind of hangs back and maintains at least 1 of his shields. He can disable it and go ahead and pummel the Federation with this weapon. Doesn't need a target lock either, and yeah, so that could be really, really devastating. Never used it before. I figured throw it in there. If the Groth is stupid and gets hit and loses all its shields, then obviously it can't even use this, because it says you have to disable this card and 1 active shield to perform this attack. So if you don't have any shields, you can't fire. You can't use this attack at all. So it's kind of a gamble, really, which is kind of neat. I like that. So anyways, that was the change over here. And then over here we have Captain Kirk again on the Federation side, only him, but he's using the original Enterprise. So the original Enterprise is only worth 22, the tiny prize, okay, but it has the special ability of it can perform an action listed on its action bar, so only these 4 actions, while it has an auxiliary power token. So basically, if he does a crazy red maneuver, or for whatever reason gets a critical hit, and the AUG has an auxiliary power token next to his ship, he can still perform these actions. Not the crew actions, just these, whichever on the action bar specifies that. So pretty neat though. That should help Captain Kirk out. And then of course, Captain Kirk, this is a 60-point build, by the way. Captain Kirk has, he's worth 6 points. He's got his 2 elites he can use, and he's got that 3 squad point in the face down thing for his elites. I chose the same elites, cheat death, which is only when he's using cheat death, it's only worth 3 points. So that's 3 points onto 6 points. That's 9 points plus 22. That's going to be 37 points, and then this is going to be 40 points. He's going to use the gauge again. So you just go 6, 6, 12, and 22. It's 34. So 34 points for that. And then he's got the other trick up his sleeve. I got this. Now this is a cross faction, so a penalty of 6. So, but this is a plasma torpedoes, roll a attack die of 5. You need a target lock. but you may re-roll all of your blank results one time. And you have to get within 2. So 1 to 2, which is interesting. Before with his proton torpedoes, he could only shoot 2 to 3, so you don't want to get too close. But this is 1 to 2. Now these guys do have, a couple of these guys have a couple bonuses when you're in close, that you can actually make them re-roll something or whatever. So that's going to be kind of interesting, a little mix to it. And it just says you may fire this weapon from your forward or rear firing arcs. Now, the Enterprise doesn't have rear firing arc. This Enterprise doesn't, so that doesn't matter. But that's going to be an interesting little niche or a little trick up his sleeve, because that's pretty devastating that he can re-roll those attacks. Maybe he'll be able to take out the Groth right away. We'll see what happens there. So, but he's got to get close. So maybe with his engage maneuver, maybe he can get in there, take this couple shots, and then get out. We'll see. Pretty interesting. And then my crew, got Montgomery Scott again. I didn't change him. So if you want to do the point, if you're counting the points, that was 34 points. This is going to be 40 points with this guy. It's the 1 point penalty. And then with Montgomery Scott, that's going to be 45 points. And then we'll go with Spock. Gonna be 50 points, and we already talked about him, how he can, if he has a scan token next to your ship, you can convert all of your battle station results into hit results. So that's kind of cool. And then I got the shield guy again. It's got the 1 point penalty, so he's worth 5. So that was I lost track now. I said 50 points, right? Let me see. Let me go back here. We got 34 points. This will be 40 points, 45, 50. This guy will be 55. And then I got this guy. I can't really pronounce his name. Murrock, I guess. He's a Vulcan. He's gonna be worth 5 points because of the 1 point crossover faction penalty. And his is an action. It says discard this card to target a ship at range 1 to 2 and roll 2 attack dice. For every hit and critical result, disable 1 active shield on the target ship. If the target ship is cloaked, a hit result flips that ship's cloak token over to its red side. So, and you know, is it really good? I don't know. It's kind of an interesting little trick you can do, I guess, to get the ship uncloaked, maybe for the next round or something. I'm not sure. Maybe we can get a target lock in, which I don't. He doesn't need a target lock, or no, he does need a target lock for this guy. So we'll see what happens. But it's 60 points total. So I'll see you guys in the battlefield. This should be very interesting. I'm rooting for Kirk again, of course. I hope he does really well, and we'll do this playthrough. And see you later. Okay. Well, I have to use my cheat death card already. So what happened was the Enterprise fired first at kind of blindly at the Martov. Martov was cloaked. I had my scan token here, so they actually got 1 less evade dice, so they only had 4 instead of 5 evade dice. I only fired with my primary weapon because I didn't have a lock. Because with the plasma torpedoes, you require a target lock, so I didn't have that. I probably should have went for this asshole over here, but I wasn't close enough because I gotta be 1 to 2 away, and I think I was only, I was 3 away, so that wouldn't have worked. So I think I got 2 hits, and then he rolled his 4 evade, and then he evaded 2 of them, so those were completely, canceled out. If I attacked at 1 with him, he would have got an extra attack die. But then it says any ship attacking you at range 1 rolls 1 less attack die, so that wouldn't have helped either way. So yeah, now the Martov is not cloaked. He fired next, just for example, he fired next. Or I kind of went ahead of myself there. So he was next in line to fire. He fired his magnetic pulse. Now the magnetic pulse, he just has to disable 1 shield, which he did earlier, and then that's all he has to do pretty much. Disable one shield and then disable this once you fire it. But this thing, he freaking hit with 2 of them, but 2 of them he rolled battle stations, and he had battle stations. Now, yeah, so interesting enough that was. Okay, so then he had 4 hits. Well, I rolled only 1 evade, that's all I could do, because the scan token was already gone. So, yeah, I don't think you can use the scan token for defense anyways. So yeah, sorry. So he got freaking his shields roasted, and got a hull. So he only had 3 hull left, right? Now, I'm pretty sure the magnetic pulse, I kind of looked it up, they're going to hit as normal unless you hit a critical, then it goes through the shield and hits the hull. So that's pretty devastating anyway. So, yeah, that's not very good for the tiny prize, man. Because then this guy fires next. He fired his primary weapon. So now he's not, that's why he's not cloaked anymore. And then he had he had 3 hits, and then what did he have? Yeah, he had 3 hits, and then he was allowed to re-roll a battle station. So he re-rolled the battle station, got another hit, and the Enterprise didn't evade any of them. So he got hit with 4. Or no, 3. Maybe it was 3. Yeah, I think it was 3 because I put him over here. So it was 1 hit and 2 crits. I flipped him over. I did the 1 hit and I flipped the other 2 over. It didn't really matter because I did the cheat death. The cheat death tells you you can come back to life basically after you're destroyed, and make sure you have 1 less damage from your hull. So you take away 1 less damage in your hull. So I took away the 3, and now I'm back alive. So that was that round. So hopefully we'll see what happens next round. Okay, that was kind of scary, but interesting at the same time. Both the Martoth and the Groth moved forward 1. The Martoth locked onto the Enterprise because he wants to use his photon torpedoes at some point. He's not cloaked. The Groth reloaded his magnetic pulse weapon for his action, so he only went 1 forward. And then the Enterprise used his engage maneuver, so he did a lazy turn to the left 1, and then he did a lazy turn to the right 1. So he basically just kind of joggled like that, and now he's got an auxiliary power token. So that was his action for that turn. But he gets to fire now. He is out of their firing arc, which is good for him. I'm glad he did that. That's freaking awesome. But yeah, this is this is the dirty part. So I'm gonna use his primary weapon. And roll 3. Actually, he'll be able to roll 4 because he's close. But I think each time you defend against a ship at range 1, roll 1 extra defense die. Okay, so he gets to roll 1 extra defense die. And each time an enemy ship attacks you, you may force that ship to re-roll attack die of your choice. Okay, so that could be interesting. So I'm going to roll 4 dice. He's going to roll 2 dice. And I'll be back with the results. Okay, well, not as good as I wanted to happen. I rolled 4, I got 2 hits. He made me re-roll 1 because I'm 1 less away. That's his thing. That's the ship's thing. It says each time you defend against a ship at range 1, re-roll 1 extra. Oh no, sorry. Each time an enemy ship attacks you, you may force that ship to re-roll 1 attack die of your choice. So he chose one of the hits. They were both crits, by the way. He re-rolled it. It became a battle station, so it's nothing. He had 1 to get rid of. He rolled 2 evade dice. Didn't get anything. So we did get whittled one shield away. Whoop-de-doo. So, and that's that. So hopefully the Enterprise can repair some shields. Alright, later. These guys did 3 come abouts. So they're both under stress, or auxiliary power, rather. Enterprise did a agree maneuver 2, got rid of his auxiliary. Was able to repair 1 shield. Still got target lock from this guy from before. But now I'm worried about this asshole. Because I have one shield and 3 hull. He's got these magnetic pulse torpedo, or these magnetic pulse weapon. He doesn't need a target lock. He enabled them earlier, so he can fire a 4 at me, and I only get 1 evade dice. So if he gets a crit, it's going straight to my hull. Or it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter what he gets, because if he fucking takes out my 1 shield, he's hitting my hull anyway. So we'll see what happens. I'll be back. Okay, well, fuck. The Enterprise did a 3 away. Well, wait, sorry. These guys did each 2, because they did a combat 3 earlier, had a stress token, or auxiliary tokens. Then they did... He's cloaked now. They did 2 green maneuver, got rid of their auxiliary, and then he was able to cloak. He did 2, got rid of his auxiliary. He had a battle stations. I was gonna do a target lock, but I wasn't sure like if he was gonna be able to reach this far, but he could. And the Enterprise did a soft 3, and for her action she repaired 1 shield. So she had 2 shields, but guess what? He would have attacked, but he can't, doesn't have a rear firing arc, can't hit nobody. So he's the next in line. He can't reach. He fired and got 3 freaking hits with his primary weapon, which is just so lucky. It's just a luck shot. Then the Enterprise evaded only 1, so 2 of his shields are done. Just like that. 2 shields gone. Enterprise is in hot water again. So yeah. Crazy, crazy game. Well, folks, that was a crazy, valiant effort by Captain Kirk. He destroyed the freaking Groth. Well, I'll get you up to speed what happened with the movements first. He moved forward 4. He went to cloak. He moved forward 4. And he was gonna do a target lock, but he doesn't really need to fire his other weapon. So he had a disabled shield already. So he re-enabled his magnetic pulse because he was about to fire, right? So the Enterprise, I could have repaired his shield, but I was like, let me risk it for the biscuit, and I did a hard 2. And for the Enterprise, a hard 2 is a auxiliary power, is a red maneuver. So I did auxiliary power, but the Enterprise, the Tiny Prize, actually has a ability that if you're under auxiliary power token, you can still do 1 of your actions on your action bar. So I target locked. I couldn't target lock him. He was cloaked because I wanted to target lock him, but I target locked the Groth instead, and I was within range 1 to 2, which both of them were, and I freaking just roasted him with my plasma torpedoes. I freaking just nuked his ass, man. He had nothing because he only had 1 shield left and he only has 3 hull. And I think I hit him like, yeah, I hit him for 4. So even though he made me re-roll with Captain Koloth, he can make you re-roll 1 of the dice. But the cool thing about the plasma torpedoes is any blank results you can re-roll. So they're pretty devastating weapon. They're closer range. They're not far range, but man, that was kind of epic. The freaking Vorcha though got like 4 hits in, and I didn't evade anything. 4 hits out of 6. So I only had 3 hulls, so of course I'm dead. And no more cheat death for Captain Kirk. So that's it. I'll put this up on the website, and you guys can comment and tell me what you think. What I could have done different with the Enterprise. Maybe tried to separate the two Klingons. Maybe, you know, I don't know, because it was interesting. That magnetic pulse really kind of kicked my ass too. And then he got a lucky shot. He actually hit me for 3 with his primary, and he was 3 away, and he still took out my shields in the back. I had 2 shields ready to just chill there, and he freaking just wrecked me, man. Took my shields right away, so I could have escaped, or I could have went away and then try to repair a shield and then come back. But man, I was just like, you know what? Let me see if I can get these plasma torpedoes to work for me. And they did work. I did pull a surprise maneuver on him and roasted him the crap out of him because he couldn't shoot at me because I shot first, and just roasted him. But then, of course, the freaking Martov just said, "Oh yeah, well you killed my buddy. You're in my sights, or I had a target lock from before," and just freaking obliterated my ass, dude. Just those photon torpedoes. He gets 6 dice with the Vorcha, and then he gets to re-roll a battle station. So yeah, it didn't even matter, man. He just freaking toasted me, and I didn't even get an evade. I tried to evade, but I only got a battle station. So the tiny prize went down with a fight though. So, alright, take care, thanks.